Thank you to you. Hello, welcome everyone. I am Ana and I work in Energia Digital, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the traditions and festivity we have here in Spain. Here there are all the different things I'm going to explain. If you have any questions or doubt, you can write and I will tell you everything. So first, I'm going to talk about New Year's Eve, also called Nochevieja in Spanish. It is all night, and like in most countries, Spanish people celebrate the last night of the year with a great dinner. On this day, family or friends usually get together for a delicious dinner and share good memories. But the special thing about the Spanish New Year's Eve is that at the sound of the last 12 strikes of the Puerta del Sol's bell in Madrid, we eat 12 grays in the last 12 seconds. Each of these grays represents each month of the year. The tradition says that you have to eat all the grays, otherwise you will have bad luck for the next year. Most TV channels show a live streaming of the 12 strikes of the bell in La Puerta del Sol, which is the central square in Madrid, and thousands of people gather every New Year's Eve below the clock to celebrate the arrival of the new year, transforming the square into a huge cheer party. You can see that in those pictures. Another curious tradition is that if you want to have good luck during the new year, you have to wear gifted red underwear. Another popular thing here in Spain in Christmas is the Three Wise Men Parade. Every 5th of January, since the 19th century, the parade of the floats of the Three Wise Men is celebrated in the streets of every city in the country, as a representation of the Christmas tradition that says that the three wise men from the east attended the birth of Jesus of Nazareth to deliver gold, incense, and myrrh. The parade, which each year represents different themes, the assistants of the three wise men, known as pajes in Spanish, throw candies and gifts to children. There is also a tradition in Algeciras, in Cádiz, where the same day of the parade the kids drag a lot of cans connected with ropes, making a lot of noise. The legend says that during the journey the three wise men got lost because of the fog and couldn't get to Algeciras, so all the kids there were about to get no presents. As soon as they realized what was happening, they decided to make so much noise that the three wise men were able to hear them and give their presents. On the 6th of January is the Three Wise Men Day, or Día de los Reyes in Spanish. It's the day that most children in Spain and other Spanish-speaking countries receive their Christmas presents. They normally leave them under the Christmas tree during the night of the 5th of January, and when the kids wake up the next morning, they find all the presents. Another essential part of Three Wise Men Day in Spain is the Roscón de Reyes, or King's Cake. It's a ring-shaped pastry. It's decorated to look like a crown that a king would wear. It is often topped with glass fruits representing the colorful jewels on a crown. Buried inside it is a toy, often a figurine or a tiny king. The person who finds it in their piece is said to have good luck for the year. And it is delicious. Now, after Christmas, we have Carnival. Spain is a country with a well-known Catholic tradition, and the Carnival is celebrated before the 40 days of Lent as a way to let loose before the prohibitions of that coming religious holidays. Most Andalusian towns stage a parade and a dance and a carnival queen and other singing contests. This is a festive time celebrated throughout the country, but the most representative cities are Cádiz in Andalusia and Tenerife in Canary Islands. On the one hand, we have the Carnival in Cádiz, which is defined by its music. There is a big musical content celebrated in the Great Theatre Falla, where some groups perform their show that they have been preparing for a year. There are 4 types of musical groups. Cuartetos, they are made up of 4 people. Coros, they are made up of 20 to 40 people. Chirigotas, they are made up of 12 people. And comparsas, made up of 15 people. But the sense of this festivity is the group singing in the streets. Everywhere you go through the old town in Cádiz, you can see different groups performing on improvised stages among a lot of people dressed up in costumes. This contest is happening now. The festivity in Tenerife is very different. We can imagine that
So
Anna Maria?
you can listen, you hear our tone now. Okay. So
Okay.
here,
Anna
you hear
Maria.
me? I'm sorry, it was my connection.
Everything okay.
Okay, fine.
We put our audio off again and you could continue. Thanks.
Okay, sorry. So I was saying that the carnival in Tenerife is very different. It is a small version of the Rio Carnival, and its most popular event is the crowning of the Carnival Queen, the opening parade, and the Entierro of la Sardina, the burial of the sardine. So, after Carnival, we have the Holy Week. It is an annual tribute to the Passion of Jesus Christ celebrated by Catholic religious brotherhoods, in Spanish, cofradía, and fraternities, that perform penance processions on the street of almost every Spanish city and town during the last week of Lent, the week immediately before Easter. In Huelva, as in most places in Spain, at the end of April we celebrate the Holy Week. It is a religious celebration in which every day of the week brotherhoods go on parades with saint figures. Los Pasos are floats with realistic wooden sculptures of individual essence of Jesus Christ and the Virgin Mary in most cases. These sculptures are of great antiquity and are considered artistic masterpieces, as well as important from the cultural and spiritual point of view for the local Catholic population. These images go accompanied by specific music performed by music bands. San Fermín Festival takes place in Pamplona, in Navarre, that is in the north of Spain. It is locally known as San Fermines and is held in honor of Saint Fermín, one of the patrons of Navarre. This celebration starts at noon on the 6th of July and ends on the 14th of July. Its most famous event is the encierro, is the running of the bulls. But the festival involves many other traditional and folkloric events like the Chupinazo, which is the opening of the festival, and is marked by setting off the pyrotechnic Chupinazo. The rocket is launched at 12 noon of the 6th of July from a City Hall balcony, with thousands of people celebrating the act in the City Hall Square and other locations in Pamplona. The Riau Riau was a mass activity held on the 6th of July. The member of the City Council parade from the City Hall to an Erby chapel dedicated to San Fermín with participants dancing to the string waltz along the way. The Estruendo is a single-date event with more than 50 years of tradition. It has been purposely left outside the official program, and each year is celebrated on a different day, usually on a weekday so as to keep the crowds manageable. People gather at 12 p.m. at the town hall and make as much noise as possible for several hours, mainly with drums but also balls. The key day of the festival is the 7th of July, when thousands of people accompany the 15th century statue of San Fermín through the old part of Pamplona. The statue is accompanied by dancers and street entertainers and different political and religious authorities, including the city mayor, among others. The running of the bulls is followed by hundreds of people running in front of song of bulls through the narrow streets of a section of the old town of Pamplona. It ends in the Pamplona's bull ring. It lasts only a few minutes, but it's really intense. So the red color is a symbol they have there to represent that feast. And after this we have the so-called Feria de Sevilla in April, or Seville Fair. It is a translation. The April Fair first began in 1847 as a market to buy and sell cattle for the locals in Seville, the southern Spain. As the exposition continued to grow in El Prado de San Sebastián, the feast environment did as well, and the fair soon moved to Los Remedios, a neighborhood in Seville. in 1973 to celebrate as they do today. Soon the attendants started to put up casetas and light fireworks to keep the fiestas going. Over the years, Seville's April Fair has become an international known celebration of flamenco. This 1 week consists of fiestas that last throughout the night, filled with horses, work, flamenco music, drinks, and traditional flamenco dances. It starts with the alumbre. The flamenco outfit, or traje de gitana o flamenca in Spanish, is the dress traditionally worn by women at ferias in Andalucia. It is trimmed with layers of ruffles on both the skirt and sleeves. The dress is typically brightly colored, usually in black or red, and might be either plain or patterned. The most famous one is the polka dot, in Spanish known as traje de lunares. The Spanish word "caseta" most closely translates to hut or tent. These tents are set up in the fairground in Los Remedios like stalls in a market and are used as little homes for fairgoers to come together and celebrate with family or friends. Each tent has a pañoleta on top with a number and name of its owner. Although a majority of these casetas are private, the party always flows into the surrounding street and public casetas. You can see the lights. Do you have any questions so far? Oh my God, I think I don't know the number because it's a lot of people from everywhere. It takes place in April. Yes, all streets are crowded. There are many horses and people. Yeah, it can be people singing, using guitars and singing typical songs that we call sevillanas. As Carlos says, everyone go to the fair and the center of the streets of Seville are empty. Yes, schools have some days that are holiday in Seville. Some of the days because the fair is 1 week. Yeah, I invite you to come. You will enjoy a lot. So now I'm going to talk about the Fallas. Falles in Valencian is a traditional celebration held in commemoration of Saint Joseph in the city of Valencia. The main activity of the festivity is to bar the construction known as Ninot. Each neighborhood of the city has an organized group of people, the Casal Faller, that works all year long holding fundraising parties and dinners. Each Casal Faller produces a ninot, the one which is eventually barred. This ninot normally represents all kinds of famous or relevant people like politicians, as you can see Donald Trump in the picture, modern movie characters like Shrek, or artists like Lady Gaga. Also, this kind of construction shows satirical representation of actual situations and social problems. Another important activity is La Mascletà, which is an explosive barrage of coordinated firecrackers and fireworks. The Fallas Festival was added to UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity list on November 30 in 2016. It is said that the Fallas started in the Middle Ages when artisans disposed of the broken artifacts and wooden pieces they kept during the winter by burning them to celebrate the spring equinox. Valencia's carpenters used planks of wood called parots to hang their candles on during the winter, since these were needed to provide light to work by. When spring comes, they were no longer necessary, so they were burned. See, as in Carnival we have a Carnival Queen, in the Fallas they have a Fallera Mayor, who represents her town in some events. And these are special dresses. So this festivity is called Tomatina and takes place in a small town called Buñol in Valencia, in the east of Spain. The participants throw tomatoes to each other and get involved in a tomato fight purely for entertainment purposes. Since 1945, it has been held on the last Wednesday of August. It was in 1945 when some young people spent time in the town square to attend the Giants and Beathead Figures Parade. Some of the young boys there decided to take part on the parade, and they were hit by accident by one of the participants' beatheads, making him fall off. The participant flew into a fit of rage, began hitting everything in his path. There was a market stall of vegetables that fell victim to the fury of the crowd, and people started to pelt each other with tomatoes until the local forces ended that fruit battle. The following year, some young people engaged in a pre-planned quarrel and brought their own tomatoes from home, but the police broke it up. Nevertheless, this didn't stop the yearly tradition, and even though it has been banned during some years, it has become an official festival. Thank you, Carlos. So, All Saints' Day, in Spanish, Día de Todos los Santos, in most Christian countries is celebrated on the 1st of November. The tradition is going to the cemeteries to bring some flowers to our beloved ones who are no longer with us. But there is one particularity on how people from Cádiz celebrate it. Under the name of La Fiesta de los Dos Santos, not only people wear costumes, but also dogs and cats, and go to the main market, where the market stalls are decorated. It is said that this tradition started in the 19th century when on the 31st of October the rate of sales increased before the festive date, to make this day even more productive and in order to attract more customers. In 1876, Cadiz Town Hall decided to create a contest that rewarded the most beautiful decorated market stall. May Crosses Festival, Cruces de Mayo, is one of the most interesting festivals here in Spain, and it takes place in the south of Spain, in Seville, in Córdoba, Málaga. According to the legend, Saint Helen, who is Saint Constantine's mother, is the founder of this festival, who had shown a special respect for the cross where Jesus was crucified. The most important activity of these festive days is to decorate Jesus' cross with flowers and offerings, fruit, vegetables, etc. The crosses are normally installed in the morning and remain in place until the last day evening. May Crosses Festival is always at the very end of April or beginning of May. Often it is of the nearest Sunday to May the 1st. It is actually more than a festival, it is also a contest, with Catholic brotherhoods and neighborhood associations competing for prizes for the best decorated cross for the town hall. In Córdoba, the competition began in 1953, but the tradition of decorating the crosses dates back to the 18th century. The preparations take place secretly in the preceding month, with all the women and children from each street or neighborhood joining in with decorating of their cross, singing or dancing as they work. In older times, it was an excuse for young single people to meet. Each Catholic brotherhood or neighborhood association set up a bar next to its cross to serve drinks and tapas to the party goers. The Town Hall Culture Department organized a competition to reward the most beautiful cross. Yes, my crosses are after Easter. So these were all the Spanish festivities and traditions. Well, this was a summary, and if you have some questions, I can answer. I hope you enjoy, and I say sorry about my connection. I don't know what happened. I have to say I love all the Spanish festivities, and I almost go to all of the festivities, I think. I don't go to Seville Fair because I go to the pilgrimage that happened here in on my village, because on Andalusia we have festivities in all the villages and towns, but they are all lovely, and I invite you to live one day is one of them. Yeah, I think that Spanish festivities are focused on Catholic tradition, but people also love to drink, dance, sing, and enjoy a lot. Spanish people are like that, although they are also religious people.
So, Anna Maria, thank you very much for this exciting, nice presentation. And it is really very interesting if there are there very big differences of traditions in Spain? Could you say yes or no for that?
Yeah, even if you
Great.
live on a city or another, there is a different tradition in every of them. For example, on the Holy Week, I showed you the pictures of the processions, and in each city, they have a different way of carrying out the sculptures, for example, or they have a different music. We have a lot of different things. That is.
Is the, for example, the February de April, this week, this of festivities in Seville or so, is it also supported by government, or are they all volunteers who contribute to this festival?
To which festival, sorry?
The February de April. February de April, this big festival in Sevilla.
Yeah. It's like
By
Caridad.
sorry.
Caridad say she lives in Seville. Well, she used to live in Seville, sorry. It's funded by public administration.
Ah, yeah. Caridad, I think there are also many people who contribute as volunteers to that. So, for example, all these guys and women who are coming with their costumes and horses and so on.
Yeah, because it is funded by the public administration, but there are different casetas, as I say, and a lot of them are private, and the owners pay for it. And about horses, people have their own horses, or they pay for have a horse all these days, like all the week.
Okay, that's interesting.
More questions? Feria de Abril and Feria de Sevilla is the same. Yeah, on this week is happening different things so they have a program.
Oh.
Yeah. It will appear on the internet. Not yet, no. In April. Now we have the carnival contest happening in Cádiz. Started last Monday.
Last Monday. Ah,
Yeah.
okay. And how is it usually celebrated? Also with some costumes or private parties or?
Yeah, now is happening the contest what occurs in the Great Theatre in Cádiz. And the different music groups go and sing, and there is a competition. They will have a winner of each group. And when this ends, there will be the street carnival, and all the groups go to the street to sing, and people go dress up with different costumes to enjoy all this. There are a lot of people in Cádiz during the street carnival.
It is really interesting the difference between Spain and Germany, or especially in the south of Germany, with the Alemannic Carnival, with these rough wooden masks, and in Spain, these colorful costumes and so on. It's really a difference.
Yeah, I think that everything in Spain is like very colorful.
Yeah.
We like it.
Colorful, also the tomato festival.
Oh my God, that is so red.
Okay, if no more questions, I would like to say thank you very much once more to Anna Maria. That was a great presentation, thanks. And I would like to say that our next webinar, it's second, it will take place on 13th of February at the same time, 7 o'clock in the evening. And our online trainer will be Lawrence from the British team, Praxis Europe. And we are looking forward to your presentation, Lawrence. And yes, for now, I say thank you very much for your participation and for coming. And you'll get a link and can watch the record of the webinar once more if you want. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Ruth. Thank you very much to everyone for your attention. I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.